So you had a hand generator, which operates like so. So that baby probably still puts out voltage.
That's the one.
You cable from the generator into the dynamotor, which is my understanding is a combination of a motor and a generator. So that probably just regulates the power out using, big fat cables like this, big honkers. Then the power from the dynamotor went into the radio, and here's another thing I'll pass around is a spare key, which Claude picked up. So you got a telegraph key set up here, oriented for right-handed operators. So, once again, we lefties are out to lunch. Got a hand mic. I've got a set of headphones that are similar to what they use, but these are the other plug-ins. They use banana plugs for this particular radio. Now the antenna, this is really, I wish I owned this right here. This is all metal. It's about 20, 25, 26 feet, color-coded components. They're all in great shape. I looked on the internet to see if I could find, because this would work for our use. They're kind of few and far between, and the ones I've seen online look pretty crapped out and rusty and expensive. But this set is in beautiful shape, and the way it works is you've got this large insulator. This is a separate unit. This is a large insulator that just slides into these things on the side of the radio. Just like that. This is the bottom section of the antenna. That slides in. And then you run an antenna wire from here down to the radio. This is wound up. This is a complex counterpoise system that is then unwound and spread out. I think it's about 4 legs. And that provides a counterpoise for the antenna. This guy right here is a remote unit, and I don't have any detailed information, but my understanding is that if the unit is set up a telephone system with wires and whatnot, that you can actually use this unit somewhere else in the system and interface with the radio via the telephone, the telephone system. So yeah, it would be fun to try to see if you could put this baby on the air, but I'm not sure how successful we'd be. Got some manuals here. Here's the manual for this radio set. And then this is just kind of a general manual for electrical communication systems equipment. Just copies of the military manuals, and you can kind of look at those at your leisure. They obviously went into great detail on these things, and quite impressive. But just shows you how to set up the whole thing, and there's also additional components to this radio set. Oh yeah, this rig also can be mounted to a vehicle as well. So there's portable, there's the portable use using the little legs, and then could be a vehicle mounted setup as well. Jim.
According to the spec sheet, the guys didn't like it on the Jeeps because it was too rough on the radio and would knock them out of service. So they got a whole group of guys together just to carry all that equipment, instead of putting it on the Jeep, because the bouncing Jeep over those rough roads
Oh, yeah,
and everything damaged the interior of the equipment.
yeah.
I can imagine the filaments didn't like that.
No,
Right.
no.
How do you carry this radio? There's no handles on the side. That'd be a tough
I don't
one.
know.
Gotta build a backpack or
Maybe when it's all
something.
folded up, the handle appears.
Yeah, I'm not
It's just-
sure. I'm
Oh,
not sure.
my.
Maybe they, yeah. It's, might be something in here.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a diagram of a setup. They did have a guy wire, and Claude has a guy wire set for it, but we couldn't find it. Just a simple ring with 3 guy wires on it.
So how tall do you think the antenna is?
Oh, I put it up. I put the whole thing up in my house and shot pictures of it. It's about 20, 25, 26 feet. Well,
And what's the frequency band of the radio?
It was
And
3
power.
to 5, just
Didn't
like
we do that?
in Kentucky.
huh?
Did you say it was like 3 point something to 5 point something?
Yeah, let's see. What do I have
They
down
like
here?
that.
Yeah, 3.8 to 5.8 megahertz.
So it was a pretty small antenna for that frequency.
Yeah, yeah.
And the power output?
24.
Oh, power output is 17 AM, 24 CW. One other note, I do have, this particular rig has a larger antenna. And I don't know how long this puppy is, but it's a, this is for the big backpack. But it's a top antenna. But this is, you know, like our tent posts. Yeah, shock corded.
And they're still okay.
Well, looks like wire to me.
It's a steel cable.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not gonna mess
Looks
with it
like
too
about 8 or
much.
9 feet.
Yeah.
10.
So,
You know, I picked up at a yard sale some antenna section from, I forget what the set of it was, but
uh-huh.
they were probably about 2 feet copper tubes, painted green, of course,
Uh-huh.
hollow, and they had threads on the top and on the inside on the bottom, so you could screw them together.
Yeah.
And
Let me pass a couple of these.
there was just
around.
one section, you know, a bunch of them. So I've used them to make 40 meter
Uh-huh.
verticals.
See, this has got really nice looking, you know, insert and threads.
Well, these weren't inserts, but
Yeah.
they were actually part of the tube itself.
Yeah, uh-huh.
They kind of stuck
Yeah.
out on the front.
Yeah.
And I'll have to bring some up because I got a bunch of them that I'll never use, and
Sure.
I'll bring some up because they're good for portable verticals.
I'd love to just have these, but this system, the SCR 284, is going out to a millionaire guy who made millions in the oil business and has a big winery in California, and he and his son collect World War II stuff, and this system is going to be going out there eventually. So that's about all my brain could absorb. So if anybody has comments or stories or, and then
Well, I got
Shel has
few
a
things
few,
I can
Shel has a
add.
few things,
You want me to do that now?
vintage stuff. Yeah, why don't you do your stuff?
Well, this is just to tie all this into ham radio a little bit. I grew up in New York in the 60s.
Never would have known that.
What's it to you? But we were, as kids, we could, 14, 15-year-old kids, we'd go into New York City to Radio Row before the World Trade Center was there. It was just streets and streets of surplus equipment, World War II surplus stuff. We didn't know what any of this stuff was, but somebody, a friend would say, oh, you need to buy one of these thingamajigs. They were like $1 or $2. So the first thing we got was this key. This is a Navy flame-proof key. This is what I grew up with in ham radio. This is my first key, and I use this for many, many years, and it's completely sealed, so it's going to last forever. It's adjustable here by the distance that of the travel of the key and the spring tension. So you could adjust it any way you want. It's just two connections under this black plastic thing here that back in the old days, the keys are always quarter inch. All right. So this is, it's got a number on there, but that was my key from Radio Row. And then the other thing, by the way, I have a headset here that we initially used. It looks just like that headset. It's got these foam
got the
cups
cups
on
on 'em.
here that are somehow still there. I don't understand why. One of the more interesting things is this guy. Somebody says, "Oh, you got to buy one of these." It's called a Navy beam filter. It's basically an audio filter. You plug this quarter-inch jack into your rig for the audio instead of your headphones, and you plug headphones into here, and you can plug two headphones into here, and there are three positions on here. It says both, phone, and range, and we just knew this as a filter. So if you put it into the into the range position, it would give you a very narrow passive audio filter. So it would allow you to get rid of some of the QRM. Now the interesting thing about this is, back in the days everything was tubes. So I mentioned this to somebody earlier today, put it in a range to get rid of some of the noise, and and it's really narrow. I'd love to measure this one day. I haven't done that to see what the bandpass is. But you would put it in the range position, it would be very, very narrow, and you'd be listening to somebody, and then you go transmit for a minute or so or two. And then you come back to listen, you don't hear the guy anymore because your receiver has drifted enough that he's out of your passband. so you have to quickly, all of a sudden you think he's just gone, and you say, well, wait. After a while you realize you have to put it back into a wider range, the both position, and then tune them in again, because in those days the receivers and transmitters were always separate, the boat anchors. The other interesting thing to me was